love, like, and leave us a comment. Holla.
Let's talk about it.
A lot of men out there really don't have a clue about all of what we go through.
I seen some men, crying and hurting over side chicks, and it's like that's not even your woman. Let's talk about it. Hey y'all, welcome back. It's your girl, Tammy K, with another episode of Girlfriend Talk Podcast. I thank you so much for tuning in and rocking with us. It's a new year, and I got my ladies with me. Ladies, come on in.
It's your girl, Juju.
Just as.
Say boo.
Hey y'all, hey, Happy New
Hey.
Year.
Happy New Year.
2023. I was asleep at 10 o'clock. I was asleep. Old lady status. What y'all end up doing for the new year?
Oh, I had so much fun. Spent time with Just Ask and moms, and brought it in with my baby, my hubby. So we had a good time.
That's what's up. I seen y'all pictures. Y'all was cute. Y'all look good. Y'all look good.
Y'all sure was. I was on my sofa drunk.
I didn't realize I had as much to drink as I did. I sent Juju some pictures, and because my boyfriend sent them to me, and I was like, "Oh, I didn't even know I took these."
I didn't either.
I was like, "Where these come from?" But they was cute.
Yeah, we was cute.
Y'all in liquor. I know how y'all get down, so I know it was a fun time.
It was a nice time. I really enjoyed myself.
Yeah,
that's good. I know people talk about like new year, new goals, or anything like that. What are y'all looking forward to for 2023?
I'm just gonna say same old you.
I'm looking for more self-care.
Yes. I agree.
Same. Before I got on here, I came in my room. I had that Bath and Body Works spray, the stress relief. I laid down, had just the music playing. I sprayed that and just took like 15 minutes to myself just because I had just got off work a little late today. So I just took a little time to myself, had my door closed or whatever. And I mean, the self-care makes a big difference. Like we put so much emphasis and thought into other people. We have to do that for ourselves. I'm really big on that. So I think that I think that's a big deal for everybody. We can't keep putting everybody in front of ourselves. We have to be a little selfish this year and don't feel bad about it. That's my main thing. I'm gonna make sure people, because when you have a good heart, you always want to make sure you're doing something for somebody else, and it's like you don't have to always be that. Do that for yourself. So selfish or not, oh well, 2023, let it be a selfish year. So
that's right.
But
I heard that.
Like Juju say, bitch, bye.
Well, I think for me, it's just about like just doing what I feel is best for me and not worrying about what others may think about that. And I think also just kind of like letting loose some, when it comes to just like my finances, because I feel like I make decent money, and so just kind of just spending it more.
Enjoying it.
I definitely agree.
Yeah, God forbid when it's your time to go. I mean, yeah, you can pass that down if you have children or whatever family you choose to pass it down to. But I mean, I'm just like, I work hard to get where I am at, and I'm gonna start seeing the fruits of my labor. I mean, I do, but I'm gonna start seeing more of it.
Good. Absolutely. I tell my friends that all the time. I'm like, we work. I'm outside, and that's trips because I didn't do what I procrastinated, and that was one of my 2023 goals that I procrastinate. So I missed out on 2 or 3 trips trying to find a better deal, trying to do this. It's not always about a deal. And I missed out, and I'm so upset with myself. I said I'm not doing that this year. You say you're going somewhere, you might not even have to invite me. I'm going. You say what? Juju, no. You say you're going well? Okay. I'm inviting myself. Like we worked too hard for all of that. So it's so I definitely agree with you on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, I agree with that. I'll put that in my to do.
I'm working towards being debt free and getting this house. But I'm still going.
You say a big house?
This house.
Oh, okay.
House, but I'm still trying to be debt free. So I'm paying, making sure my stuff is paid so I can enjoy it comfortably.
Yeah.
And that's my goal. That's my goal. So
mine too.
I've got a question though, real quick. So how do you guys feel about people who say, I want to retire, like, let's say in their 40s, right? Which is nothing wrong with that, right? I think retiring early, if you can, is great. But sacrificing so much to do that. And I just feel like, well, you don't even know if you're going to be around.
Yeah.
And I'm not thinking in a way of I'm not thinking about death all the time or anything like that. I'm just more so saying that, like, you don't even know if you're going to be around for this. And I just feel like it's okay to be responsible and making sure that your bills are paid, making sure that that you're taking care of your home and whatever other priorities that you have, set for yourself. But when I just hear people say, I'm trying to retire, I'm not doing no vacation, I'm not buying nothing, just so they can retire early. But I'm thinking to myself, well, you're doing all of the sacrificing, but you don't even know if you're going to be here for all that.
Right.
So I just feel like a lot of times we don't live in the present moment, and that's what I'm going to be doing moving forward.
I love
that.
Right.
That's good. Yep. The way I say every day now, because it's like every day, every time you turn on the TV, the news, somebody done passed away, and it's like we take this life for granted. We really do, and it's like I'm really big on that, for real. Like I can't live my life like that no more. And I'm like, people I talk to, like, be more spontaneous. Try to be more spontaneous. Everything don't have to be planned all the time. Just wake up and like, I'm gonna go give me a massage. I'm gonna go take me a day trip. Like, people kill me, like, I can't do this, but you will go spend $100-some. And if you got kids and stuff like that, you eating out, you spending a couple of $100 on outside food, and you could have took a trip. I'm not correcting nobody or giving no idea. If y'all can't think of that now, I can't help you. I'm outside. Like, you can make some food at the house. What you just spent on that takeout, I got me a plane ticket and I'm gone. But then I have to also understand that that's not everybody's goal and they like to do whatever. So I have to understand that too. I just be wanting people to get free and experience that kind of stuff. But I also understand that people are different. So I ain't knocking you, but you can sit at the house. I'm
knocking you, but I'm knocking you.
Right. I'm just, because I'm like, I want somebody to show me new things, so I'm not stuck in my ways. So I try, if there's things that I experience, I know that I will want you to do or want to try, I'm going to suggest it. But if you come back with then it's like, okay, all right, I'll find somebody else that wants to do that. So
I agree.
I ain't convincing nobody to go have fun.
Well, pop your shit, sis.
I better see you when I get there next week.
Oh, I heard. Yes, I'm gonna do a vacation. I'm coming.
Okay,
I'll be there.
Don't hold it to it. Don't hold it to it.
I don't want to hear that.
You just asking her when she was here.
Nah, we talked about that. Nah, we didn't see each other, but she had family in town, so I let it slide.
Right. Yes. Juju knew I had 3 Carlos family coming to town. And I can't drive 6 hours and take them back 6 hours again.
Stop it. You go there 6 hours. Like, I'll
see you next week.
Right.
I got you.
She don't,
I'm on it.
She don't come to you. You go to her.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Look, she only coming for the egg roll.
Oh shoot. Okay, yeah, I gotta make y'all some too. I'm gonna make a pan. My God, I'm gonna make a pan, G. I don't want no problems. Okay,
You did
so
it last
anywho,
time,
up
but I get
next.
Let's go.
Up next. We're gonna check out this video. We haven't seen it yet. We're gonna check it out. Let's see our reaction. Roll it out.
You don't benefit from. I feel like, most women, right, don't take criticism real, right? So even if she asks you something, let's say, you know what, are you making me happy? And I look at you and say, no, you're not. You're not doing this. I feel like your cooking is not that good. I feel like I'm not getting sex as frequently as I would like, or as frequently as you advertised when we were in the dating stage. I feel like you are not that attentive to me and things that you don't benefit from. I feel like, XYZ, a man get to laying that shit out to most women. If we gonna be honest, she gonna, like, all she heard is what I'm not doing. And typically how that goes is it gets flipped immediately. Oh yeah, well, when you do this, or with what you doing, instead of actually taking the criticism that a man's giving you, going back to work on it and implementing it into the relationship, like men have to do. So that's why I feel like the disconnect is. Women talk like it's very easy for this man to just communicate what you're not doing and I'll go fix it. That's not the case. Most women.
I agree.
I don't.
I agree. I absolutely agree. I was just told by someone that I don't take criticism well, and in certain areas, and I'm like, yeah, because I'm used to being single and by myself, so I'm used to doing things a certain way. So beforehand, I would have went down, I would have had his head, but I stepped back and I'm like, you're right. You're absolutely right. And if I want to grow as a person, I have to learn how to take criticism, especially from a man. It's difficult for me to take it from a man, but I'm learning. So I definitely agree with what he's saying, because we'll be quick to hop on the phone. Girl, he said we don't do this and we don't do that. And we'll be like, friend, but you don't. And you be like, okay, I understand. But it seems like when it's coming from a man, we ready to jump down their throat. So the healthy communication makes a big difference.
Absolutely. I also agree, with what he's saying, because I do think that a lot of times as women, we can put men down a lot, for whether it's their wrongdoings or them not doing enough or whatever it may look like in our situation. And so to his point, I do think he is correct, because there are moments where I have an issue with that, where if my partner comes to me and tells me about certain things, I'm only hearing like what I'm not doing, right? Instead of really like actively listening, and yeah, it could sound a little harsh, but I think that, he's speaking his truth, and that should be allowed. There should be space for that, because I would want space for that as well. Now, I'm not saying that, your approach has to be like, what's the word I'm looking for? Words. I'm not saying that your approach has to be like harsh or abrasive or anything of that nature, because there's a way to let someone know how you feel, but it still will probably sting either way. I just think that we do probably need to listen to our men a little bit more.
Okay.
I ain't saying I like it, but I am saying that it is fair to do so.
Okay, so let me just say this real quick, because I don't agree with that, and that's only because of some of the examples that he gave. You knew the bride couldn't cook when you got with her, because I'm pretty sure she tried to cook for you. As far as advertising, get me in the mood. Don't just sit up here and just be like, well, you advertise sex. No, get me in the mood. They stop doing stuff automatically. Men stop doing stuff automatically and still expect us to do things. Okay, well, you wind and dine me. Where's my wind and dine? What's the romance at? You know what I'm saying? You coming to me acting like I'm not doing what you want me to do, but you not doing the things that you supposed to be doing. as a man. You actually, backslid too. So both of us is like, but I just feel like it's just like I heard this lady, and she was just talking about how if a man is doing what they need to do, they don't have to. A woman gonna be submissive anyway. So I just feel like, no, I mean, I'm not gonna take that laying down. He was wrong. He stopped doing things too, but he still wants you to do the same things that you was doing when y'all got together, And I'm just like, he knew all that stuff. He knew stuff before he got with the girl. The only thing that I could say is that he advertising sex. I mean, do better.
Okay, Juju, but what if he's still doing what he's supposed to do and the woman is slacking?
Well, I mean, then I think that is a conversation, because a relationship is 50-50 and you are supposed to compromise, and you are supposed to be able to take, constructive criticism on both of you guys' part. But I'm just saying, like, most of the time it has something to do with them, them being laid back, them taking us for granted, and if he not, I mean, good for him. But I'm just saying, like, I feel like, look at yourself first before you start trying to fix somebody else or tell somebody else to do something. Because if the woman got something that she want to say, then she nagging, oh, okay, so I take this constructive criticism, but let me tell you about you. You know what I'm saying? And most of the time we have already said the stuff anyway. Now you want us to, you just want us to be superwoman, and it's just not right. It's like it's 50-50. You have to take what I say into consideration as well. So I mean, if like you said, she's firing back. So about her firing back, that actually means that she doing, she done already had this conversation with you.
But oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, you finished.
But I was just saying, like, I just feel like, there's nothing for you to say, if he comes to you with constructive criticism and he's still doing what he needs to do as your partner. Because then you will be willing to take it. You will be feeling guilty. Most women feel guilty if they doing the same thing. Like, dang, I did, and then, but that's conversation. Like, you don't have, and it's a way to talk. You don't have to be that cruel either and rude with it. You could be stern, but you don't have to be rude with it. You ain't advertising it. You ain't doing this. You ain't doing that. It's a way to, what if we just said, you not, what about what you said you was going to bring to the table?
I think in the video, he was asked the question and he was being honest, his honest opinion of it. It wasn't that he was being rude. I think he was asked and he started saying the stuff that he believed. And that's the thing that I think that we always lack of, because we ask a question and then we get upset with the answers, as if another person shouldn't feel that way when they give the answer. So I'm like, if you don't want to hear the answer, don't ask the question. Then he should allow her to say vice versa. What can I do? What's making you unhappy? And that's when you can go in and say what, Juju said or whatever the cause may be. But he was being 100% honest. And I think in a relationship, not only both partners, but one partner might go into a relationship being someone totally different, just to please and get someone. Then they get comfortable and relaxed. Then they start not cooking the meal because, hey, she probably followed recipes and everything to get in it, to get on his, his heart or whatever like that. And she lacked that because she thinking now she's getting comfortable in this relationship. And now she's starting to show her true self when she didn't present her true self in the beginning. And, now he's telling her all these uncomfortable things because it was presented to him. It was asked to him, what's making you unhappy or why you can't communicate with me. And now he's saying it for her to come back and say, well, you don't do it either. That wasn't the conversation. Give me that opportunity and then let me ask you, well, why you're not happy or why you stopped cooking. Everybody played the defense mode. And I think that's what mess up probably mess up the relationship. I don't know. I ain't in one shit. I might be doing it wrong.
But it's actually, and like I said, it's all about who you are as a person. And I've been married for a long time, and it's no way that my husband will be able to come at me like he, like that honest. It's okay to be honest, but you don't have to be disrespectful with it. And I'm not a sensitive person, but I just feel like it, the way he said it, you can be honest, but you can be honest on, it's in a very nicer way. Because if I said some of the things that came to mind, it'll just blow your mind. It's like, no, you got to treat people with some type of respect. And for you to come at me that way, or just, or he's coming at his significant other that way, that's wrong. It's a way to say everything. We can't talk to each other like that. If I want to say something to Tammy K, Table, just ask. We got to say it in a way that they won't be offended. Because it is easily to get offended. Some people are easily offended, but you just got to say it in a way where they can understand, and people appreciate that. If you came at me in a totally different way than that, and I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do, and you still bringing what you have brought to the table, of course. But I do agree with you. Most women do that. They come into a relationship, and then, and that's not who they really are. It's really to get the men. And that's probably why the men don't stay. But it's men do the same thing.
But Juju, I think that what he was saying on the video, like, we don't really know the full situation, right? Mm-hmm. We're just really going based off of the question that was asked and the way that he responded. And I think that you are doing what he said that a lot of women do with when they come to you with whatever concerns that they do have, then you then try to say, well, what concerns do you think I have with you? Right. And so you did exactly what he said that a lot of women do. You was just a prime example of that. Also, to Tammy K's point of earlier, I do think that what if she was doing all of these things and then it did change, because people do get comfortable. They do.
But life changes too, though. I mean, life happens. Things change. People have kids. People have, they get jobs. I mean, they get more on their plate. And y'all not really, to me, y'all not thinking about that. It's things that's happened. And I'm just saying this for being married for 22 years. He's not going to get the same me. He's not, because I've grown and I have, and I have more responsibility. You're not going to get the freaky me that came in, because we can't do the freaky things that we have because we just have so much added onto our plate. And it's not that I just went on here and I was just like, oh, okay, well, let me just feel, I did not just say that he can't say anything. That's nothing. I did not say that of any sort. I just said that it's a way to say things, to bring things to people, and that to me, I feel like, to me, when people start saying things like that, of course I'm gonna say something back, because what he did say is that she'd be like, well, you not doing this and you not doing that. Of course it's not your turn, but when we say it and we do it, it's nagging. And it's not that it's nagging, it's just that, what, you didn't even want to have this conversation with me about me. You said that I was nagging. When I said, where's the romance? Where's the flowers at? Where's this? Where's that? And now you got to sit up here and say, well, this, and that. And everybody does it. I don't care what people say. Everybody does it. Yeah,
but I also don't think that, like, when you sit up there, you just mentioned that, like, people do change and they don't always stay the same. Like, it's not going to continue to always just look that exact same way. Right. And that, I agree with that, but I also think that in this situation, again, we don't know like the full extent of the relationship, and so to him, he could feel like, well, she don't do none of this shit that she used to do. Most of it has changed, and honestly, like, there are certain things in a relationship that I think probably shouldn't change as much as it may change.
Just ask. Let me interrupt you 1 second. We're gonna bring Mons in so we can get a man's point of view on this too. Because I think this is really good. It went farther than what I thought, but I think this is some good meat.
Hey, happy New Year's,
Hey,
ladies.
Mons. Hey.
Hey.
Welcome.
Hey,
You hearing what's
glad to
going
be
on? We're
here.
gonna let Jess Ask finish her thought, and you can just jump right on in.
Okay.
But just to just finish up, I just think that, you know, depending on your situation, I think you can use some of your points, right? But I also think that there are room for alternatives depending on the situation if you heard all of it. So it could be some of what you're saying. I think it's also some of what I'm saying. And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. So all of you ladies made great and valid points. Juju, I do agree that approach, means a lot. But what that video was displaying is, if I'm just brutally honest to you, it hurts you.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes women are brutally honest to their men, and they don't consider that, man, that may have hurt him. Because we're men, we're supposed to be strong, we're supposed to be the providers, the doers, and all of that things in a relationship. But we're human and we have emotions too, And so if you can relate with how that lady felt with that man's delivery, understand that work could be done on both sides, for us to understand like what it is that we all can improve on, because nobody's perfect in the relationship,
Totally agree.
Yeah.
And it comes with healthy communication. If you're going to be with somebody, they should be able to say how they feel, because if they can't communicate with you or tell you exactly what it is, because you don't want to be lied to, you don't want nobody to sugarcoat. It is about approach. You have to know your partner in order to approach them in the proper way, because you don't want to go at nobody. I'm sensitive. I know y'all think I'm a thug, but I'm very sensitive. Okay. I don't know why. I don't know if it's from past hurts or whatever. I'm very sensitive. But the person who told me something about myself he used to talk real reckless to me. He approached me different. He said, I feel like you don't take criticism well in certain areas. And I literally was like, you're right. You're right. And it made just the calmness, or whatever the situation we were talking about, it brought a calmness over me. And it's like, I was like, okay, tell me, what's up? What is it? It's like, everything else is cool, but this is, this and this. And I'm like, and I know sometimes you're going to be in the heat of the moment. You're not always going to be calm when you're trying to tell somebody something too. So it's like, it definitely makes a difference. I think we should play the video again if we can, just to see what he actually said, how he actually said it.
Are you making me happy?
Off of that.
And I look at you and say, most women, right, don't take criticism real, right? So even if she asks you something, let's say, are you making me happy? And I look at you and say, no, you're not. You're not doing this. I feel like your cooking is not that good. I feel like I'm not getting sex as frequently as I would like, or as frequently as you advertised when we were in the dating stage. I feel like you are not that attentive to me and things that you don't benefit from. I feel like, XYZ, a man get to laying that shit out to most women. If we gonna be honest, she gonna, like, all she heard is what I'm not doing. And typically how that goes is it gets flipped immediately. Oh yeah, well, when you do this, or what you doing, instead of actually taking the criticism that a man's giving you, going back to work on it, and implementing it into the relationship like men have to do. So that's why I feel like the disconnect is, women talk like it's very easy for this man to just communicate what you're not doing and I'll go fix it. That's not the case.
And did y'all hear him say, like, as he got toward the end of his conversation, did you hear him say, like, we just want you all to implement the way that you expect us to? And so even when he said that to me, he was saying, like, I'm hearing what you're saying too. You know what I'm saying? And just like you want me to hear you, I want you to hear me.
And I think I when he said that, I thought about dealing with past people or past men, I would say, and they told me something. It was like, coming from that person, I didn't respect it, I didn't care. So I'm like, I was defensive because of who that person was too. That I think that made a big difference for me. Like, who are you to tell me anything? You ain't even nothing with your lame ass.
You know, but you know what? Even with that though, you know, yeah,
right, yeah.
But even with that, you know, I mean, God. Oh, my apologies. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you good.
Okay, you know, if you know, God uses messengers, so that person may be that person, and they may, you know, be whatever they are to you in your mind. God may be using them in that moment to tell you a truth that you need to hear.
And
So you can't always, right? You know, you can't always say, "Oh, I don't respect you." You can't tell me that because you ain't got this in order or whatever. But you ain't got things in order, and that's what's being presented to you. You know, nobody's perfect.
Right.
But I couldn't receive it because of that person, because he absolutely was correct. And my friends could tell me the same thing, and I'm like, girl, you right. You is right. But then coming from that person, I could, like, it ate me up inside. And I just, every time I had something to say, every time. But now, like I said, it comes with growth. That was years ago. It also comes with growth, how you take things and stuff like that, because you're wanting to grow and mature as a person. So you have to understand everybody ain't gonna come at you correct, and you have to learn how to take it sometimes too, because like I said, you're gonna be in the heat of the moment sometimes, and they're gonna come at you sideways too. So it's like, you got to know your person, even though it's not always gonna be, hey, you know, babe, you're not gonna cook for me. It's gonna be. So I think that will cause like conflict too with people.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, but communication is key. You know, and I mean, that's something I'm learning every day. You know, I communicate a lot. At least I think I do. But it's learning how to communicate with different people, because you can't communicate the exact same way to everyone. You know, like, everyone is different. Everybody's communication style is different, you know, but you got to want to come to a common goal with that person, whatever that is, you know, like, and in relationships, like, we shouldn't seek to change that person, but more so to understand why they are the way they are, and, you know, just be an aid to one another, you know, to kind of pick up on those deficiencies, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. That definitely makes sense. I think, like you said, communication is the key, and you just definitely have to learn how to approach the person, because the way he said it is like, you know, the woman came up to him and was just like, hey, you know, are you happy? So she already feeling like there's something. You just can't beat her down and say, you don't do this, you don't do that. Of course she's gonna get offended, you know, really easily, because of the way that he approached it. But if he, you know, you could be honest, but you don't have to be brutally honest. You really don't.
Well, he didn't
I can't be
say
brutally
that.
honest with you guys. You know, you just gotta learn how to speak and talk to people.
But is there ever times in your marriage that you've ever just been brutally honest, you know, and it was just a simple conversation or whatever, and they're like, hey, you know, not brutally, but man, be honest with me. You know, are these things okay? And you was just brutally honest.
No, I mean, it was the way that I said it. You know, I say like, if I do say something, I'm mad. If I'm brutally honest, I'm just angry. But if you come to me and you just like, we need to sit down, we need to have a conversation, you know, I'm not happy, and then I can say, well, this is what's going on in my life, and this is what's going, you know, I understand that I need to change, but I need to fix this first. You know, so it's the communication thing. It's not, you know, if he asking me why I'm not getting enough sex, it could be anything that's wrong with me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that if you come and, you know, you just, and it's in a nicer way, instead of being brutally honest, you know, you can be honest without being brutally honest. That's all I'm saying. You know, he didn't have to say the way that he said it. You can be honest.
Well, my apologies.
Go ahead.
I mean, I guess being a man, I really don't feel that he said it anyway. I just think he spoke his truth. You know, no different from, you know, a woman can speak her truth, but you have no control over how that person receives that. You know, and when women speak their truth, they want us as men to receive it and be calm and smooth and go and work on it. You know, and I think the video was just trying to convey that there should be some equilibrium in that in a relationship when a man says, and again, he didn't give like unsolicited suggestion. He was asked. You know, so if you're asking a question, you should be ready to receive the answer, even if it ain't delivered the way you want to hear it. I'm saying that matters. It should, you know, that person on the other end, you know, should, you know, have an idea of their audience and choose their words wisely. However, they have no control over the words that they choose, how they're going to make you feel. You just have to be willing to accept it.
Okay, so willing to accept it. Now all of us have always wanted to say this, but we never said it. So I mean, you sound like a little bee right now.
Oh, I've said it. I've said it. I call somebody like, a bitch ass nigga.
You know what, babe? You know what, you right.
But I'm pretty sure they wanted to say things to us too.
Much worse. Trust me. You know, much worse. But we, you know, but that's respect and that's love. But let's say this. If you were to ask us, what are you thinking right now? Like right after y'all just got into a heated argument and like, man, gloves off, you know, off the record, whatever. I just want to connect and understand your mind in that moment. And you give him that space, which what relationships, you know, that are either in courting stage or marriage, you know, it should have that type of open and vulnerability where that person can feel that they can speak their truth and not be criticized and critiqued for it, but validated.
Someone said receiving the truth is always tough because the truth 90% of the time is not pretty. That's correct.
That's true.
But that's how you grow. Like either you gonna respect it or you not. Like we need the truth. And people like, oh, don't lie to me. And then you tell them the truth and then they get offended.
Right. You know, and I mean, and honestly, like it hurts more to tell that lie because you got to keep telling that lie. You know, and when you love somebody, it's like, man, I don't want to lie to you. You know, and again, if everything is about communication and growth, you know, how do we grow if we're not able to communicate to one another how we can grow? You know, like we're coaching one another. You know, we both are on the outside looking in to our own lives. You see what I don't see as my mate. I see what you don't see. You know, so if I'm saying, hey, man, you know, you're doing this, you're doing A, B, C, D, all the way to F, correct. We just got to work on the rest of the alphabet. You know, we should be able to receive that and take that on both ends.
And I think how he came at it, he went like boom, boom, boom. No, you ain't doing this. No, you ain't doing that. No, that's like getting shot. Boom, 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 boom. You hearing all that at once, it could be difficult. But so that's why I think I kind of get what Juju was saying, like how he said, I don't think he was rude, but it was just like, no, you ain't doing this. No, you ain't doing that. No, baby, my insides will be shattered. Like, why are you saying these things even though they true? But it you know, the truth hurts. So I get why you said what you said though, because he just was running it off a little bit. So
but it's a progress report. You know, again, it's not like he just came in angry after a hard day's work and just let off on you. You know, you asked the question and he answered, and he probably wasn't even prepared to answer that, but that was his truth. You know, no different from, again, you know, if, you know, when a woman is ready to speak her truth, you know, she's not always kind with her words. It may not be F you, mother effer, or, you acting like a little bee right now, but it could be still words that you know what I'm saying. I mean, I'm trying to be respectful, but anyway, if I get there, I get there. But I mean, again, you have no control over how your audience is going to respond to what comes out your mouth. You can try your best to be as sensitive, to a person, but again, if only thing they hearing is I'm doing all these things wrong, you know what I'm saying? At least stick around long enough to allow him to say, well, but these are all the things that you're doing, that you're kicking ass in. Because again, he didn't initiate that conversation. His woman did. He was cool with all the things that was going on right at that point, I can assume. Because that's how it works. It's like, yeah, we need work over here, but man, she kicking ass over here. So, we'll get to this in the right time. You know what I'm saying? So it's about creating that balance.
Yeah, but you got to be willing for us to say, implement our conversation and how we feel in that as well. Because I be like, nigga, you knew I couldn't cook. You knew, now I done had your baby, my coochie wide open. My hormones are not there no more. I mean, you want to know the truth. I'm about to tell you the truth. But
I also think that sometimes people come into a relationship and overlook things too because they blinded by love. You know what I'm saying? That's true. And so I think that also plays a role in it as well. But I want to rewind some, going back to being brutally honest. I don't think it was brutal with what he was saying. Would I have liked to hear what he had to say? No, but I think either way, I wouldn't have liked it, no matter how he would have came in.
I would have been crying. I'm telling you, whole inside shattered.
Right.
Shattered.
Right. Either way, I just think that
advertise. He said, like, you advertised.
I mean, but honestly, y'all give us that same smoke. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That be the smoke that y'all give us. And y'all don't think it is because it's just you speaking your truth, you getting it off. And it ain't that, y'all don't love us, but it's like, man, damn, I said, let them have it. We get it and it's like, shit. And we still got to go back to the lab and work on it. We just want to make sure that, it's equal there, that we can do the same thing. And again, he didn't initiate that conversation. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what you got to always take in mind. I think the moral of that is if you're going to ask the question, be ready for the answer, regardless of how it come out.
Yeah.
Look, this video was so good. We switched up topics. I didn't plan on staying here, but we switched it to receiving the truth. This was really good. So we're going to keep that flowing. We're going to say this topic for next week. The other topic, we're going to say that for next show. But go ahead.
I was going to say that I just think that sometimes in our relationships, we're not probably as honest as we should be. And I think that when we finally are, sometimes that's where also that sting comes from. I also feel like I'm not really a sensitive person like that. So I feel like a lot of times I can take what's being dished. I just would prefer you to be able to take that back. And I know that some people can't. You know what I'm saying? So I have to keep that in mind also. But I think that, anybody like this man who was on the video and just the way that he was just sharing his truth, I would think that if he's able to share his truth the way that he was, then whoever he's with gonna be allowed to do the same thing. Mm-hmm. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. And so, if anything, I would welcome that. Because I just feel like enough of us don't communicate the way that we need to in our relationship, and that's why when we do finally address whatever those issues are, It a lot of times it do come off for some people like insensitive, or with an attitude, or the approach is just overall just wrong. And so I think that if you're just honest as things come up, then maybe it would go over a little bit smoothly.
Yeah, because if you ain't going nowhere and you stand with that person, you might as well get it right while you can. And you grow, like Juju said, y'all been together so long, so it's so many different seasons y'all went through. So it's like we gotta understand each other in a different season. So it isn't the time for you to share your feelings when you're asking about his. Now that I agree with, because it's like if you had feelings or wanted to say something, you should have took the time, not coming at me when I'm voicing my opinion, because that's when I feel like you start to go tit for tat, and then that's when it starts to get a little heated, because it's like, well, why you ain't say this yesterday? Why you wait for me to say what I have to say? Now we're battling, now we're arguing, and it turned into something.
It doesn't feel authentic. It doesn't feel like it was coming from a real place. You know what I'm saying? And I've experienced that. It's like, wait, where's this coming from? Because how come all of a sudden it's now being said, but it wasn't before?
Right.
Like it didn't just come out of thin air.
Yeah.
Definitely agree with that. I definitely agree with that. That's a great point.
And then that makes me feel like, well, what else you had under, in them feelings?
Yeah.
Because I would hate for my person to like come at me so strong with their emotions because they have been withholding them in, and not giving us the opportunity to appropriately work through them, right? Because of the way that you're presenting it in the first place.
I agree
but
with that.
But it's definitely from a man's perspective. That space have to seem open and available. Like going back to what Ms. Juju said earlier. If in the back of your mind you think this bitch ass nigga, you know what I'm saying? When he's just trying to, say, hey man, here's some areas that you can work on, and may have even dropped hints. When it get to a point where it's like, man, I didn't told this motherfucker. Like, have you ever been in a situation like that in life where, someone's like constantly provoking you and you're telling them, hey, chill out. And then it get to a point you got to knock them out, or you got to have strong words for them, or whatever, that's because they're not providing that space to see your perspective. They see what they want. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with understanding and knowing what you want. But you got to also understand what it's going to take to get what you want. And in relationships, by them being partnerships, you got to understand who your mate is, to know that for who this person is and for what you want, these are the things that he's going to need. Not in exchange like a tit for tat, but, to make that transition, a lot smoother. Because again, we're not entering relationships to change people into who we want them to be, but to accept, who they are and learn how to, grow.
Well, I want to comment on something like when you mentioned, like what happens when you like provoke someone. At the end of the day, your responsibility, the way you react is you're responsible for that. I mean, that's just what it is. That's just real talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not, and I know as humans that we all have a hard time with controlling our emotions, especially when we feel like we're being provoked. I do. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think no one would ever get that right 100%. But at the end of the day, we are responsible for our own emotions. And I also think that sometimes the situations that we do find ourselves in, it's not necessarily the situation, but it's how we choose to look at it. And that's hard to do as well, and so it goes back to what that young man was saying when he was saying that, like, if he were to be honest with his person, then the way that he was describing in the video, then he feels like there would be some backlash to that. And it probably would be. But I think that the person who he's dealing with, and that goes back to what you said, Tammy K, about growth, I think that that's all a part of the way that you respond to all situations. Well, many situations. I won't say all, but many situations. And so if that was me, like, let's just say if that was my person telling me what this young man was saying in the video, I think that where I am in life and where I'm trying to go, I would be receptive to that. I won't like it, you know what I'm saying? But I definitely would try to understand it. And it may take a few times for me to get there. But I think that, again, that's just a part of growth. And I think that's just a part of your willingness to really hear somebody out and being receptive to that. And that's not always easy.
Yeah, I agree. We're gonna wrap it up. Anybody got any final comments before I kick it over to Just Ask? I think that was a really good topic.
Yeah, it was. It definitely was. I think that what I would want to know is that after he said what he said, do he want a response? More not a going back and forth, not a tit for tat, but is it anything that I could do, because I have this going on? Is he gonna be understanding to it? So it's like it's a communication thing. So
I agree. Well, Mom, thank you so much for joining us. We definitely appreciate it. Feel free to come back anytime. I loved your insight. We appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all for having me.
No problem.
Great topic.
Yeah. I'm gonna take some of the stuff that I talked about today. I'm talk about it with my person or whatever. It helped me understand things a little bit more too. So I'm gonna kick it over to Just Ask. Go ahead and take us on out.
Yes. Well, I want to thank my beautiful co-host, as well as our guest speaker, and a special shout out to Tammy K. And I want to say this because sometimes it's hard to see ourselves and receive things. And even though you didn't like it from the person who you were receiving it from, I can still tell that you received it. And I think that that's growth as well. And a lot of people are not able to do that. So
thank you, girl. Thank you. I hope my person is watching. I'm growing, boo. I'm going for you.
All right, wait. Can I conclude? Thank you. But anyway, like I was saying, I do want to just thank my co-hosts and our guest speaker, Lamonz Logan. I'm going to just kind of make this short and sweet. I enjoy hearing everyone's perspective because it always allows for you to make room for alternatives. And I think that we can all learn from one another, even if it's not necessarily something that we fully agree with. But if we can still take like parts of that, then that's still something that that you've learned from. But anyway, again, thank you to our guest speaker, Lamonz Logan, and our co-host. And till next time.
Check out my pic, I'm flying this bitch. Check out my whip, with stars and shit. Watch on my clips, you need to like, share, subscribe to this. Who is this chick? Damn, she thick. She rolling her hips, she playing this shit. Twerk it, watch it dip. You need to like, share, subscribe to this. Check out my